All right, everybody, it's your boy Genius out here at the range on this beautiful morning. It's that time of year, springtime of year. Spring just started. You wear a sweatshirt and some shorts, my favorite weather. It's just crisp enough to wear a sweatshirt, but you also get to wear some shorts. By mid afternoon when it warms up, you kind of got the best of both worlds. I don't know. I love it. Anyway, nice morning out here at the range. As always, before we get started on the video, I want to share with everyone the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are all born sinners. There is a payment, a punishment for that sin, eternal separation from our Creator. And our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, came, took on flesh, humbled himself unto death, shed his blood on the cross to pay that debt. And it is a free gift. He will not force it on you. You have a free will. You can accept it or you can choose to deny it. But either way, whether you understand it, whether you don't understand it, whether you believe it, whether you don't believe it, you can say you don't believe in gravity, but if you jump off the Empire State Building, gravity will believe in you, okay? It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Our flesh can't get in the way of that. It's just a fact. It is a fact that we were born sinners, and the payment for that sin has been paid for by Jesus Christ, by God himself in flesh, humbling himself unto death. If you can accept that payment, if you don't know what that means, if you want more information concerning that, reach out to me in the comment section or gsquaredtackle@gmail.com, and let's get that took care of today, because today is the day of salvation. So I have the CZ Shadow 2 Compact. Man, I really want to shoot this gun today. Everybody always asks, I'm going to address this right up front. This is an ICM plate with a built-in rear sight that I got from Ben Stoger. Sometimes they're sold out, sometimes they have them. Yes, it does give me a co-witness. And yes, I did replace the fiber optic front sight with a front sight that was the same or that correspond with the height of this rear sight, having raised it up from the original height of the original iron that was on here. So the front sight was replaced too. Both are ICM, and they both go together, okay? And it does give me a great co-witness with my optic, which you know that I like. I have the Trijicon RMR up here. And so everyone asked that. I just wanted to address that up front, because every single time everyone asks. So that's where the optic plate come from. No, it did not come with the gun. But man, I tell you what, I like different guns for different reasons, okay? Some for carry, some for truck gun, some for nightstand gun, some for I don't know, if you hunt, going hunting. Different guns, different strokes for different folks, if you will. Different guns for different reasons. But I've never really run up on too many guns that I didn't like in some capacity, right? But I love this gun. So why would I not carry this gun? Why would I not EDC this gun? Why would this gun be at best a truck gun, but mostly a range toy? And man, what a fun range toy it is. Very accurate, super crisp, very predictable trigger, double action, single action. Does not have a decocker. You can carry it cocked and locked with the safety up, okay? And I'm going to tell you why it is that I don't think I wouldn't. And I don't, I guess because it's my opinion, I would probably think maybe you shouldn't. But if you do, hey, more power to you. I don't, if that's your cup of tea, then go for it. So the first reason will probably be a reason that I'll catch the most grief about, but for me, it's just a little too heavy. I typically do like to carry. I will occasionally carry my PO1, but it's a little bit too heavy for me to carry. It kind of digs a little bit. I don't really like carrying all metal. I love shooting all metal guns, but I typically will carry polymer frame guns. They have a tendency to be, a little more forgiving when it comes to carrying them and carrying them more comfortable. This tends to dig a little bit more with the sharper edges and things of that nature. Just a little bit too heavy in that sense. Also, The second reason would be because of the trigger, just how good the trigger is. If you remember, I've already done a review on this gun. I'm not going to shoot it today. I don't want to waste the ammunition to do that. That's not what this video is about, but you can go over and you can check out my videos that I do have up on this. They are aplenteous. I have 3 or 4, maybe 5, maybe more. I don't know. I have plenty of videos up reviewing and shooting this gun, okay? So the video is about something other than that, okay? But if you watch those videos, you will notice that my wife and I both, what some might would say, negligently discharged downrange, or double tapped, if you will, not meaning to, because the trigger is just so hairpin. And I do not like carrying guns with hairpin, touchy triggers, if you will, especially carrying them cocked and locked, as easy as this safety is to knock off. It's not a positive, firm snap into place like you're accustomed to on maybe say like a 1911, a quality 1911. It's pretty easy to knock that safety off. Let me just put it to you that way. Then you have a super hairpin trigger, right? And it does not have a decocker. It is a double action, single action, so I can manually drop the hammer, which I feel perfectly safe doing. As I've told you guys before, I have had some decockers that have failed me, right? And then I will quarter cock the hammer, and if I were to carry it, I would carry it from a double action. I do have it in the truck with me sometimes. I feel pretty confident with it in that application, I suppose. But here's the thing, if you've ever double tapped, if you've ever been shooting and it's like boom, boom, that second shot, that unintentional shot, if you will, did not hit the target, or rarely does it hit the target, right? So you run into the potential of needing it in a defensive situation and, you know, shooting someone or something you did not intend to shoot, which is not a good thing. You don't want that, right? So trigger, okay, weight of the gun. But most importantly, right, would be the fact that it does not have a drop safety. So I know that, or a firing pin safety. So I know that some people had said, why aren't you quarter cock? And I call it quarter cock. Some people half cock. But half cock would be, to me, somewhere right along in there. Don't know if you can see that or not. But that to me is more of a quarter cock, right? But what does that do? Well, that keeps that hammer, and if you put the safety up, yeah, you know, you're probably good, okay? But what that does is that it keeps that hammer off of that firing pin, as in if you were to completely just drop the hammer, or aka decock it or whatever, it's literally laying against that firing pin, right? And I don't care if your safety is up. I don't care what application you may try to carry it in, right? If that falls, right, and you know, with the hammer forward like that, you can't use your safety, right? Your safety is not an option because the hammer is forward. But if that gun were to fall, and it were to fall directly on that hammer, it's laying right on that firing pin. So it could potentially send a round down somewhere through the restaurant or wherever you might be, unintentionally. We don't want that to happen, right? So we quarter cock the gun, right? At that point, you can put your safety on, right? And not only that, but now that hammer's not sitting directly on that firing pin. But even still, with your safety on, quarter cock, if you were to drop it and it were to hit just right on there, right, there's still that potential for the components that is holding that hammer back to break and for it to slam into that firing pin, right? Because you can slam this hammer into that firing pin without pulling the trigger, and it will go off because there's no firing pin safety. Whereas with other guns, you know, if you were to drop the gun, there's no way for it to go off without you actually pulling the trigger, because when you pull the trigger, it disengages the firing pin or the drop safety, and therefore allows the firing pin to hit the primer, right? But on this one, it has no firing pin safety. It has no AKA drop safety. And so if it were to fall, again, I know some people think that this is a little bit of a stretch, but it could happen, okay? And then there's some people that has, you know, made comments like, well, they're carrying around 1911. People's carrying around 1911 since 1911, since John Browning created the 1911. You know, people was, okay, okay. But we can all think of some, semi-sketchy stuff that some people were doing in 1930, that we have better technology now that is safer. I mean, you know, think about some of the stuff, asbestos and everything else that, you know, supposedly was killing people and causing cancer that we know about today and we are able to avoid, right? So if you have a better option to be safer, who in the crap cares about someone 30 years or 40 years ago that was carrying one around perfectly fine without a drop safety? If you have a drop safety available to you, a firing pin safety, and you can be more safe, then why is that even a question? Why are we even having that question, or having that conversation, if you will? I don't know why, but that conversation did take place in the comment section. So those would be the three reasons why I wouldn't carry it. Just the weight, the trigger being just, it's a great trigger. Man, it is a great trigger. But for me, it's more competition, not so much for carry. Love this gun. Not saying anything about it. And I'm telling you, if the rumors are true and they make this gun with a drop safety, unless the Lord is not willing, I'm going to be one of the first ones on board. I may even would sell this one to get that one, because I might actually would consider carrying it at that point, because I am so accurate and fast with the gun, and if I train enough with it, I feel like I'll be all right. But people have asked, so I thought I would do a video explaining why it is that I don't carry this, because people have asked in the comments, like, do you carry that? And I say no, and they can't understand why, because I liked it so much. Well, those are the reasons. Just, again, because of the hairpin trigger, the weight, but most importantly is it just not having a firing pin safety. So great range gun. You know, I feel fairly confident carrying it around in the truck sometime, but EDCing the gun, I would not do that. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's try to keep it, respectful in the comments, please. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Consider supporting me over on Patreon, $10 or $5 a month. You can cancel anytime, no obligation. You can go over to gsquaredtactical.com, click on the three lines in the corner. You can support the channel directly through there. I will get the most of that money. Super thanks, obviously. And also we have hats, shirts, car coasters, car coasters, and cup coasters for your home, keychains, bottle openers, all kinds of things on there. Merch, if you will. If you want to purchase some merchandise, we'll get it sent right out to you. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you have any comments or questions, reach out. I try to get back to everyone. And as always, to God only be the glory.